You're listening to the Precision Shooting Podcast, discussing all aspects of precision and long-range rifle shooting. This episode is brought to you by Impact Dynamics. And now, over to your host.
Well, hello and welcome to the Precision Shooting Podcast. My name is Rusty. This is my purple gin. And over there's Andy.
Oh, sometimes I'll respond to a lot of stuff.
Okay, no worries. That's probably the least abusive one. Anyway, Josh is also here.
I am tucked away again.
Tucked away. There's
I'm
no
good.
camera on you,
No
but
camera.
I can see you. Can Andy see you?
No.
I did that on purpose.
See, I don't know
Not
how-
again.
I don't know how to feel about this actually, because it means he chose to be able to see me.
Yeah.
I'm slightly concerned. Anyway,
Psych.
yeah. Hello to all of our YouTube viewers, if you're watching on YouTube, to the audio listeners, and to the people who apparently have joined us from TikTok.
We're here.
Yeah, we actually do a podcast. Hooray!
Hey.
Not just throw things at each other. Oh, we do that. We've got lollies all over the table at the moment. I'm not sure. Oh, that was very close to the drink.
Have we pressed record?
What?
I believe we have. Josh is. Do you know what Josh wrote? He wrote a checklist.
Oh, good. Good.
I did.
Did he use it tonight?
I did for most of it, yeah.
Apart from the bit.
That's like when I go shooting. I used it for most of the stage.
I forgot to load it, but
Yeah, that's all right.
minor details. You have been shooting.
Yes.
This is the exciting news. You went to Darwin, man. And then you stayed with a bunch of lads in a prison. Is that right?
Yeah, we don't talk about what happened in the prison. All right.
Sorry, I brought it up. How was Darwin? When did you go up there?
Nice.
Tell me all the details, everything. What's going on?
Yes, that would have been, about 2 weeks ago? 3 weeks.
2 weeks.
Time's flying.
2, 3, 2.
Yeah.
2.
Anyway,
Definitely. It was earlier in August.
that's it. Early August. And, yeah, that's right, because it was my birthday just like before we went up. But anyway,
No one else knows when your birthday is.
early August.
Very cryptic.
Yeah, look, fantastic trip. Yeah, it was really nice leaving raining, cold Radelaide and getting up to Darwin. It was nice and warm, humid, sun's out.
Guns out.
Sun's out, guns out. Yeah, no, it was a cracking of a time.
Yeah, sweet.
Shot a match, saw some crocs, got stuck in a prison, came home.
I like it. So this is news to me. You got stuck in a prison before you came home. I thought it was the other way around. Anyway, all right. That is a very quick overview.
Yeah.
And I can tell you what I've been doing. We've been here, haven't we, Josh?
Yeah.
Yeah. That is the end of the story. So back to you.
Moving on.
Tell us a bit more about Darwin, because not a lot's been going on here. We had
Yeah,
Plushy here on the last episode.
That's right.
The dude is a wealth of knowledge.
That's it.
It's good fun. But he has some drawbacks, being a ringer and
Apparently not losing a match.
apparently not losing a match. He was just in here like just stretching out, just like have a missed. I shoot 10,000 rounds a week. What was that?
That sounded really healthy.
Oh wait, I dropped a Nerf gun. I'd stashed a few Nerf guns in case the podcast went south, and
That was the last resort.
One of them just yeeted itself out. Anyway, all right, carry on.
Yeah.
But much more interesting than our chat with Plushy. That's harsh. Much more interesting than what we've been doing for the last few weeks.
Yep.
Tell us about Darwin. It was the match, the PRS
Yes.
match that was to be that didn't happen.
Yeah, there was so much hype around it. Everyone was so keen to get up there. I know Butters was absolutely frothing that, we've had a pretty big team from SA heading up. And even after the match being like called off for a PRS match.
As a PRS match.
Yeah, and they still decided to run it as a club match, which is awesome.
Yep.
We still had a massive turnout for SA people, which is fantastic. I think there was maybe seven or eight.
Yeah, right.
I think so. Yeah, so really good turnout. We even had a few people from Queensland. I think a couple of
WA. Tassie.
Yes, I think there was.
Yep.
KI, and I think there was a lucky
KI still counts as SA.
sometimes, but
Fair enough.
it's
Kangaroo Island is where we're talking about.
That's
I
it.
just found a black cat. I'm going to eat that one.
Oh,
Anyway, sorry. We are just, we literally do have a sack of lollies in front of us.
yeah, that's it. And I think there were a couple of lucky guys that came out of COVID area somewhere, but they got released. It was all legit. We checked.
Is that you just being like, you good? And they're like, yeah we're good.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, sick. We checked.
That's it. Yeah. Sorted. Did you bring your guns? Yeah, so we rocked up on the Thursday.
Well, most of you rocked up on the Thursday.
Most of us did. One unlucky guy didn't quite make the flight.
This is a little reminder about just ensuring that your ammo is where your ammo should be and not where it shouldn't be.
Yeah, if you pack to go on an aeroplane, absolutely dump everything out of your range bag.
Yes.
I myself have been caught, and
All right.
yeah, luckily it wasn't nothing too critical, but they asked a few questions. But yeah, unlucky for our mate. He missed that flight and had to book a $650 flight for the next day.
Ooh.
So
Ooh.
that was an expensive adventure.
Yeah. Wow. Okay.
But no, good on him.
Anyway, he got up there.
We got up there. And yeah, so Thursday night went to the range, checked out, what's happening. That was my first time in Darwin, actually spending a bit of time in Darwin.
You're not been to Darwin at all?
No. I think I might have been up there when I was a little tacker, but don't remember it. So
Not shooting though?
No. So, went up to the range. Really cool vibe up there.
It's real. It's laid back, isn't it?
It is laid back.
No matter what you're doing, no matter how busy it is, it's just laid back.
Classic Darwin. Yeah.
Classic.
Laid back. We're walking around chatting to people on the range, and it was all just, just really nice and friendly and easygoing. The local boys there were practicing hard, really putting in the out. Yeah, they were keen, testing all the barricades and, practicing. So, we got to see a couple of, that's what's happening. You boys are practicing
you're scouting
here.
it out, hey? Yeah.
Having a bit of a suss. And the Thursday night, we caught up with a few of the local boys and had a dinner. And, that was just a good time.
Just not allowed to legally talk about that one. Fair enough. Understand. I've been to matches before.
That's right. Well, I think something got kicked off OnlyFans. But,
okay. Right. Kicked off OnlyFans. That's impressive.
It was pretty bad.
Wow.
Yeah.
Not even Josh has been kicked off OnlyFans.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yet. Anyway.
Stays in Darwin, stays in Darwin.
So then Friday.
Friday, we went to the range. Yeah, shot some targets. So went to the range. Confirmed zero. Did all the the good stuff you do on the Friday. Checking dope, and surprisingly at 500 meters, I only had I think it was 0.1 difference at 500 meters to what we would normally have at Monado.
Yeah, right. That's pretty. So you would expect some sort of shift from the temperature.
Yep. Temperature and humidity and all that sort of gear, but
more so. I mean, temperature and density is probably the biggest things that play there. And and you had 0.1.
Yeah, I think a few people were surprised with the results they got. I didn't hear anything over really 0.2 or 0.3. Might have been about 0.3 if you were running a 22. But
is that the crew from Tasmania?
Yeah, maybe. Yeah, going from like 2 degrees to 30, but it was reasonably stable. I found didn't have to really correct much. The Kestrel took care of all of that for me. So did some sighting in. I think I only had about 20 rounds to play with on the Friday.
Yep.
So that's essentially all I did was sight in, check out to 500.
Did you drive fire on any barricades or anything like that? Did you sort of spend time doing that bit?
Not a whole lot. No, I think Friday was more of a like a test your rifle, test your gear, get your stuff sorted, socialise, have fun.
Yeah. Not really your kind of thing, really.
No, I just rock up and
don't really just full focus,
perform.
Full shoot.
Yeah.
Wow, I haven't seen you in a match for a while. Right, perform. I'm here to perform.
Yeah.
Right.
I didn't say well.
You're right. You didn't.
Yeah. And I didn't mention my brother-in-law came up with us, and him and myself were sharing my rifle. So my rifle got an absolute hammering. And in the 30 degrees, we used a little magneto, what do you call it, fan, air cooling.
Oh, the air cool.
Yeah.
The rifle cool.
Yeah, I don't know.
The thing that goes.
Yeah. Yeah, that's about it. Yeah.
I ran out of whatever that was.
I'll tell you what.
It's all good. I just muted you anyway.
Could
have done it sooner.
Made some good friends on the range. It was sort of like, oh, you're that guy with that rifle? Yeah, just put the rifle down there.
Right.
But
No, wait, you said your brother-in-law had that running.
Yeah, well,
He had that running in his rifle?
no.
Oh.
It was both of us using my rifle.
I thought.
So, yeah.
Okay, but did you like every time? I was like, whose rifle's that? You're like, it's his.
Yeah,
It's his.
that's it. Yeah. I'll take that thing away.
Yeah, get that. Who is this guy?
Who invited him?
Well, good work setting him up.
Yeah, that's it.
He's pretty. I mean, there's tangents, but you guys listen to the podcast, you know what goes on.
Mm-hmm.
So he's fresh into shooting, isn't he? Or reasonably. Is fresh into shooting or fresh into PRS sort of stuff?
I'd say fresh into PRS. He went into the reserves a bit, so he's got a bit of background with firearms.
Bit of a basis of
bit of
firearms.
shooting. Grew up on a farm a bit, but didn't do a whole lot of shooting.
Yep.
Especially nothing really like what we're doing. They might have done something similar in the reserves, but not really sure.
And so he's getting, like, obviously to travel to Darwin to shoot a match, and he wasn't the only. Is the only? There were some others who were shooting their first match.
Yeah, I think
there
they
as
were.
well, which is really exciting. How did he? Is it just a general thing? How did he find it?
Yeah, great. He absolutely loved it. He was thriving off of it. He's very outgoing. He'll like speak to anyone and get as much information and just soak it all up.
Yeah.
So he's definitely got the bug. He's already organised a rifle to buy. He's set himself up well.
Yeah, that's sick.
And
Awesome.
yeah, so essentially it was good. A lot of the stages I think I shot before he did, so I was able to like get the data, sort of walk
Are
through.
you taking credit for all his efforts?
No, not at all.
Oh, okay.
No, I'm not taking credit. It was just like,
Did he not do very well? Is that why he's not taking credit?
no, he did. I'll tell you what, for a first sort of bigger match, he did really well.
Yeah. Awesome.
A couple of stages, he actually beat me, and I was like, "This is ridiculous.
I'm out.
What am I doing? Like, it's the last data I'm giving you." Yeah, it was definitely 2 mils wind, eh?
Wind's coming from the right. Definitely from the right.
Yeah, that's it.
Nice.
And yeah, so it was really good just like walking him through all the stages and like, your plan of attack. Because then I found I'd like have a plan of attack, tell him about it, and then it would be like 20 seconds before the buzzer and I'm standing there and going, no, I'm going to do this different. That's not going to work.
How did you find that like having someone that you're sort of coaching through, but then you're saying like you change it, you're telling him, all right, have a plan and do this, and you're doing the exact opposite. Did that happen a lot?
Not a lot.
Were you super more aware of it this time round, having someone sort of almost judging you based on what you're doing?
It's sort of like, you want to show good habits or show them how to do something correctly.
Why'd you go then?
I was still asking myself. So like, you sort of want to show them good habits and show them, this is probably the best way to do it. And then, mid stage when your mag falls out or you have like you're just having issues, you're like, oh, damn it, I hope you didn't watch this crap.
Good.
But yeah, like everyone's going to have those issues. And I guess it's, if someone learning can see those issues and learn from it, then that's great as well. Yeah, so that went really well. He's got the bug. He's jumping straight in.
Brilliant. And so to bring you back on, so into the match on Saturday morning, it's a pretty early start up in Darwin because they try and start early to get away from the heat. Oh, you brought a book along with all the information.
I brought my book with all my notes.
Yeah.
Well,
I was going to say there's a number of empty pages right there. Just check out.
That
all
was
those,
my
mate.
list of excuses.
Whoa, that's a lot of notes.
That's not your list of excuses, mate, because
you've taken the whole book now.
You don't need to write down your excuses. You know them off by heart, mate.
That's right. They're just, you just assume.
Right.
Yeah, so Saturday
Anyway.
was a 7 a.m. start.
That's not. Oh, that's 7 a.m. shooting start, or is that break?
That's 7 a.m. Darwin time.
Okay, so normally it was a smaller match, but normally Butters does kick that off.
Yep.
6, something starting with a 6 usually.
Yep. And I must say, because it's more of a club match vibe, it was more relaxed and stuff. So that 7 a.m. start sort of turned into 7:30, sort of dragged on to 7:45. But it was fun. It was really good. So we kicked on. My first stage was gone fishing.
Gone fishing.
So that's I'm not sure if anyone's seen the videos.
I didn't see a video. Is this the one where you're in a kayak type boat type?
Yeah, you're in a dinghy.
You're in a dinghy.
Yeah,
and there's a
suspended.
crocodile.
Yeah,
in there.
crocodile. There was a mad crocodile. It was pretty angry, eh?
It looked like a pretty wild crocodile. Yeah, that you could cuddle.
So this boat's essentially is suspended from chains.
I've decided if I push my glass down onto a milk bottle, I can leave imprints in it. Anyway, carry on.
Man, my content must be riveting.
Yeah.
Anyway, so yeah, you're essentially suspended by chains in this boat. So it's sort of swinging back and forth. And I think the target was only 200 meters and it was a fox silhouette. So not a massive target, but again, enough room that because you're swinging, you could easily miss it.
And it was a fox like sideways, so it didn't have a lot of height to it.
I lie to you. That target changed. I think it would just ended up being a big rectangle or a big square.
Right.
But anyway.
Cool story.
Yeah, the fox was lying down on the side. So we used a different target.
Right. Okay. Good.
But yeah, like it was doable. I think quite a few people cleaned it, 8 of 8. But there was enough in there that, you know, if you didn't take your time and you rushed it, you could pull a shot and you could miss it.
Okay. Yep.
Similar to that sort of wobble platform. If you've ever played on that a bit, you know to sort of take your time and let it settle in. Yeah.
Cool. Nice.
Next stage?
Next stage. Are we going to do the full stage breakdown, or are you going with your more favourite ones?
Do we want to go my favourite ones or my crap ones?
Just like, I can't be here all night.
Can I quickly interrupt? We've got a question.
Oh, there's a question.
Just from a bit earlier.
Oh, wow.
Someone's asked
People are listening.
for the air cooler. What do you use them for? Why do you use them?
To annoy the other shooters and get in their mind. It's a psychological trick.
That's it. In the background, you're just hearing this.
And someone's like, did I leave my vibrator on? What's going on?
Yeah. And then when that person goes up to shoot and it turns off,
They can't
gosh,
concentrate.
it is peace and quiet.
Yeah.
It like psychs you out.
Oh, it was a legit question. Sorry, Josh. Sorry.
Damn
I
it.
thought we were feeding us lines.
I'm just going to do that at the range next time. I'm done.
And he's got distracted and trying to make jelly babies mate. To answer the actual question, who answered the question? Got a name? Anyway, I was going to...
G-slat 6.
G-slat. Excellent. The rifle cool blows cold air down or just blows air down the barrel.
Ambient air.
And the idea is to bring the temperature down of that barrel to keep it cool, because obviously your rifle heats up very quickly. There's potential there where it can, sort of just start shifting its point of impact. And so by keeping that barrel nice and cool, as cool as you can, especially in Darwin where you're already a fairly high temperature.
Yeah.
That's the concept behind it. Now, there's lots of arguments to be had about whether it's effective, whether it's useful in a PRS environment where you might shoot 10 rounds and then you don't shoot for half an hour. And so I have used mine for load development, so that you can, because with load development you're trying to shoot as consistently as you can, but you want to shoot 20, 30 rounds or whatever it might be. And so being able to shoot and then maybe shoot 2 and then put it in there, or shoot a group of 3 and then put it in there, and sort of trying to maintain that barrel temperature to get the optimal performance out of it. That's where I've used it. Not saying that's right, that's just my experience with it. And then you can also quite legitimately use it to psych other people out.
Yeah, well, I mean, so
It's a side effect.
Yeah, for the match that we went to, I was sharing my rifle. So
that's a really good point.
Yeah, so every I don't know, maybe 15 minutes, like it was getting used.
You're doubling that. Yeah,
and you're getting
a gap between you and a handful of other people before your rifle's up again.
Yeah, that's right. So initially, normally in a PRS match, I wouldn't use it. The rifle's got enough time to cool down and everything's sweet. But because there's 2 of us using the same rifle, we spaced us evenly in the squad. So it had as much time as possible to cool down. And I definitely noticed a difference. There was a stage where I forgot to put it in, and I walked up to grab it and I was like, oh, that's still quite toasty.
Yeah, okay. So you really noticed the difference.
Yep.
Yeah, sweet.
Yeah, and I mean, like, I could have still used the rifle without it, but at the same time, it's a reasonably new barrel.
There's no harm in doing it. Yeah.
Yeah, I just don't want to, cook it if I don't have to. If I've got the tool to cool it down, why wouldn't I?
Absolutely. Absolutely. All right, back on the stages.
Back on the stages.
Yeah, take us through your favourites or some notable ones with stories to tell.
Oh, well, geez, I don't know if I want to do that. All right, so this next stage was called Cottontails, and I did did rather enjoy it. We had a few shots, 12 rounds all up. We had a few shots offhand using a sling.
Okay, yeah. Oh,
And
using a sling. That would
using
be
a
right
sling.
up your alley, Andy.
I
How'd
was
you go?
terrible.
Good. That's good.
Yes.
That's what I expect.
I need to definitely practice my sling work.
Yep.
And unsupported work, offhand work. You might, So I missed all the offhand shots. Yeah, that sucked.
I would have done the exact same. In fact, I probably wouldn't have even shot them because I knew they weren't going to be hitting.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
Fair.
And then after that, it was so you're sitting on the side of a hill essentially. He's
Yep.
got an angled platform you're sitting on. The next shots you set up your tripod and you're shooting off a tripod, and then after that you're moving to this stump and you're shooting off a stump. And they were all solid hits because you got solid positions, I guess. But that was pretty cool. Did all right there. Well, pub with no beer.
Oh, it sounds terrible. I'm out.
Yeah, that was shocking. Don't know what Butters was thinking there.
Well, he barely drinks that bloke. So
That's
fair
true.
enough.
Yeah, I would have shot it better if the pub had beer, but that's all right. Can't do that on some ranges.
Righto. So tell us about the pub with no beer.
Well, essentially,
Disappointingly,
it was a strong side and a support side. You're shooting through these windows cut out of a timber crate
Yep.
or pallet. Your strong side was all at 500 metres, an IPSC target. And can I just say that range, a 500 metre berm, or it's quite difficult. If you're not a local and you haven't been there before, it can be tricky figuring out where your bullets are going.
Yes, it can. Yes. Yep. Absolutely.
And I think a lot of people maybe fell into the same trap where they're sending rounds and they just have no idea where they're going. And I did the same thing, especially for this one. I think it might have been, it wasn't the first stage at 500, but it took me a while to cotton on. It wasn't until the second day.
I get it. Cotton knot. Yeah.
Oh, yeah, cotton. Yeah, that's it.
Well done.
Well done.
We need a ding or something, Josh.
Ting.
That wasn't a ding.
So essentially at 500 metres, your target's sitting in front of this berm. You've got grass halfway up the berm and then it's dirt below it. And a lot of time, if you miss the target and it goes into the grass, you see absolutely nothing. If you miss off the left or right and you see not like solid amount of dust, but a bit of dust rise up out of the grass sort of thing, you're pretty well left and right of the target. And then if it's all dirt, then you know you're low. But it took me ages to sort of figure that out. It wasn't until I was sitting behind the binoculars and watching, that's what a miss looks like and that's where it went. And that's where that miss looks like. And that's, you know what I mean? It's sort of, because I sent rounds in going, this should be hitting. And I'm getting no feedback, no dust. And they're just going all into this grass. So that was a learning lesson. Anyway, so that stage, I only got 3 out of 6. No, correction, 3 out of 12.
I was going to say 6 is pretty low for a stage. 3 out of 12. That sounds like the Andy I know.
I perform.
I'm here to perform.
That's
I'm
right.
here to perform.
Now,
Right.
skill stage 2.
Yep.
For some reason, I thought, I'm going to do this the fastest I can. And I did it the fastest. I did it the fastest out of everyone. Skill stage 2, 44 seconds.
Yep. Wow.
Missed 2, though.
Missed. I was going to say, did you just hit 2? Missed
2.
I mean, it's not good, but
No.
I was prepared. I was worked up for you to be like, yeah, I did it the fastest I've ever done it. I also didn't hit a single target.
Oh, we should do that. I'll try that. But
How fast can you shoot this stage without hitting a target?
yeah, running at dry fire would be like sub 20. Yeah, so I was a bit gutted there, but then I was thinking, why did I push myself so hard?
Yeah.
Points are worth more than time.
Yeah, well and truly. How was obviously because each I mean there's the barricades are meant to be very similar and that sort of gear, but how was the general performance on that stage? Were you the fastest by a fair bit, or was there other people around that point that hit everything?
Yep. So I think the majority, like the good guys and the majority of the the top 10 were up around that 55, 65 sort of time.
Okay. Yep. And they were hitting 7 or 8.
And they were hitting. Yep.
Yep.
Andy McNeil actually cleaned it 49 seconds.
I'm not surprised. He's
Yeah.
a very good shooter.
Yeah, he did really well. So that was the fastest clean,
Good on him.
but I beat him overall. Sorry.
Battle of the Andes.
That's it.
Sounds like a South American hiking adventure.
Yeah. Anyway,
Okay, you guys don't know about mountain ranges. Fine.
Yeah,
I've
the
come
Andes.
to the wrong podcast.
yeah, the Andes.
The what?
I thought this was a hiking podcast. That was another one of my ninja guns falling on the ground.
Dropping Nerf guns, mate.
All right. Anyway,
right.
back to the
Moving on.
mountain
Another
range.
next good stage was the spinner.
Yep.
He had a watch him. Butters had rigged up a spinning target.
Yeah. Now I saw a video of this one. This looked fantastic.
Yeah, fantastically annoying.
Looked fantastic that I wasn't there to
Yeah.
have to deal with a spinning target like that.
Yeah. So
But give us a breakdown of that. Give us a breakdown of that target. What?
Yep.
When you say spinning, because most people are going to think that it's spinning end over end when you hit it, like
Yeah.
it'll spin around and stuff. But that's not what we're talking about.
No. So essentially, he had two IPSC, 50% IPSC targets, and it was sort of like, I guess, if you think of an aeroplane propeller, like
Yep.
they're rotating
That's quick.
anti-clockwise.
Yep.
Yeah, but not that quick. I mean, it was reasonably quick.
Yeah.
From the time he had drums and stuff in the way, so you could only see if you think of a clock, you could only see the target from 9 o'clock through to 3 o'clock.
Yep.
And that was your range to shoot it.
And off memory, that was like a 2 to 3 second exposure time.
No, it was quicker than that.
Quicker than that.
Yeah, I reckon it was maybe about 1.5. Like it was,
Right.
it was moving. Yeah, it was
right.
quick.
Okay, so you had to be on the money.
Yeah,
but it
what-
was a repeatable movement, wasn't it? It was a
Yes.
consistent movement. Every time it came around in the same pattern, same
Yep.
speed.
Yep, same speed, same velocity, sort of.
Yep.
Yep.
So you should have hit them all by the end of it.
Well, didn't.
Like
So-
the-
Perfect.
yeah.
Yeah, and it's a tricky thing to sort of pick up. If you're, because you take a shot and you think, oh yeah, maybe I'll just hold, just a touch in front, sort of leading edge. No, you'll be sending it way behind the target. And unless you can pick up your own trace or sort of get a gate, because the berm behind that target, I think was like the 500 meter berm. So, and this target was at 300 meters.
Yeah, right. So,
So-
you haven't got a lot of data to work with if
No.
you miss.
So you send a shot, you miss, but then you see this splash like way far behind the target and a lot of time after. So you're thinking, shit, was I before it, after?
Yeah.
So you just, you sort of start, okay, I'll give it more lead. Oh, that didn't work. Maybe I'll give it less lead.
Yep. And by the time you just work yourself around in circles.
Yeah.
And then the stage is over.
Well done.
Thanks, man. Thanks. man.
Eventually I did get on it. A few people did get to have a practice session on the Friday with it.
Okay.
And sort of get a gauge of what was going on.
Yep.
But I think, and a lot of people think, the speed changed.
Oh,
So
controversy going on.
I don't know what's happening
Go on,
there.
throw the gauntlet down to Butters.
The battery was going flat,
So it slowed down as the day went on?
possibly.
Possibly.
Well, that makes sense.
Yeah, I mean, it does. I mean, you know about electrical things. That's the thing that happens.
Yes, batteries go flat.
Good. Next stage, choose your poison. I see written there. This is a pretty
Yes.
common stage for the Darwin guys to run. This is where you let me brief from memory. Let me go from memory. You can tell me how wrong I am. But you have 5 different props. And you have 5 different targets, and you get to choose which target you shoot from which prop in which order. But you may have to go something like largest target to smallest target or something along those lines. You've got a rule around you that does that.
It's almost like you read the book, mate.
I have not read the book, but I have shot that stage because that stage was run in 2017 when I shot that match.
Yep.
And I suspect it's been run since, and we ran similar stages to it. Yes.
Yeah,
So
perfect.
I'm familiar with the stage. A great stage because it brings into one of those things that is brilliant about PRS, but often gets left is that problem solving.
Yes. Yep.
Ability to be like, all right, I'm gonna how do I achieve this? And I particularly remember this stage because I went with, all right, was it 5 hits or 10 hits or something like that, and so 2 from each. And there was 4 position I was fairly comfortable with. Maybe the last one was a little bit not sure. So I went, with the not the most solid. I think I did play the most solid for the biggest target.
Yeah.
Now, which isn't necessarily the right one, but I'm not a brilliant shooter, so I wanted to just stack some points.
Yep.
And then as you go down in smaller targets, not quite as solid, but that sort of weighs it. You can obviously go the other way where, and I did see quite a few shooters in front of me go with the biggest target from the most unstable position, and they just bombed because they always had that. They didn't quite ever catch up to it. It was the difficulty was always a little bit beyond where they were doing. So I didn't get a lot of points, but I do remember the last stage, the last position, I had no chance. It was off a barrel.
Yeah, right.
So I mounted the barrel like I was riding a horse, and then just shot free-handed off the barrel and said yeehaw. And I think I took my hat off.
Very good.
Please let there be video footage of that.
I really hope there is. I don't think there is, but I'm okay if there is.
We'll recreate
So
it.
how was your choose your poison stage?
Reasonably well. I actually.
Was there any cowboy action? Damn Nerf guns.
Yeah, cowboy action came later in jail.
I look forward to the part 2.
All right.
How many Nerf guns do you have?
Don't know.
You know that the answer to that question. It's a lot.
Yeah, essentially you're spot on. Yeah, 5 different positions. We're shooting at the 500 meter KYL rack. So, and each position, I think it was 2 shots from each position, and the targets get smaller and smaller. So my plan of attack was start with not the most stable. Like the most stable was prone. You're prone with a bipod.
Yeah.
So I chose the next one, which was still quite stable. It was off a tank trap, but you're resting the rifle on a rope.
Okay.
So you're able to support the front of the rifle on the rope, and the rear of the rifle you can actually grab the back or one of the legs of the
tank trap.
Okay. So first 2 shots off there, biggest gong, hit them, but I wasn't completely sure where on the gong I hit. So I thought, you know what, I can hit that gong. That's a reasonably sized gong. The next I went prone, and that's where, you know, the target size dropped, and I was like, right, I need to focus here and get a good hit and a good wind call.
Yeah, sensible.
Yeah.
Really sensible. Yeah.
So then, you know, you watch how the plate swings, you watch where you hit, that sort of thing. And then from there, with the good wind call, progressed onto some tyres, and that's where I used my Schmedium bag, just just free recoiling off the tyres. We then had a post coming out, and you're shooting off of pretty well a post. It's a bit it's a tricky position. And I believe I dropped one on there. And the final position was off of a pretty much front supported, but it's a thin front support. And then I used a tripod rear. So for the smallest target, you know, two points of contact, and that was solid with the tripod, and got one on there. So just dropped 2. But yeah, I was pretty stoked with that.
Nice, man. Well done. Well done.
Yeah.
Good.
Cool.
Good. Well, I'm glad you chose your poison well.
Yeah. I really like those stages where you got to think about it as well, and that's something I'll be running in a
rimfire match
coming up. Something similar, I reckon.
Good. Something's got to unseat Josh as a champion novice. What noise was that, Josh?
Oh,
Okay, good.
I wouldn't even know how to press the trigger at the moment. I haven't shot for ages.
This is true. I'm surprised you can press the record button. All right.
So
I've forgotten a few times how to press the record button.
So now I think we're on to day 2.
Yes.
And we started the day at 900 metres.
There was more stages we've just skipped through, just for those who are like,
Yeah.
why did they only shoot 3 stages on day 1?
Yeah.
Well,
the other ones
there was pubs
really
to go to.
bad on.
Yeah. All right, day 2. On to day 2.
Yeah, so we're shooting at 900
So
metres.
no stories you're willing to tell of Saturday night? Just went to dinner.
Oh,
and
yeah, Saturday night. So they got I forgot the name of the group, but pretty much they're
pig
like,
on a spit.
Yeah, it was like a pig on the...
Oh, was it really?
Well, I don't know if there was a pig, but we definitely had pork. And
Well,
so
generally, if
would have been a pig at some point.
Is that where pork comes from?
You won't believe this, Josh. Same animal that you get ham from.
Oh, what?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And do you want to blow his mind?
Pork it.
Okay, that was not where I was taking this conversation. Let's move back on to the reloading masterclass you're about to lay.
Well, back to dinner.
Oh,
we had like four or five different meats. We had like, roast
Pork.
this, slow cooked that, and
Roast pork, slow cooked pork,
Yeah.
pickled pork,
Oh mate, it was good. With coleslaw.
pork dumplings, and coleslaw.
No, it was a really good feed. Could definitely go. We went up for seconds. Get some pork on your fork,
How was the
all right?
coleslaw, mate? Was it all right?
It was good.
I'm so glad to hear that. Right.
How good?
All right, there were second servings. Right,
Impressive.
back to 900 meters.
900 meters.
900
Wow.
meters.
Where did you drop that from? Okay, good. On the reloading masterclass.
Yes, a 6 mil will go 900 meters.
I know that.
Okay. All right, so this.
Oh, you're trying to dazzle the audience. Right, understand. Sorry. I was off my game.
That's it.
900 meters.
What?
With a 6 mil.
How far can you see with like that? Can you see that?
You can. Yeah, you can.
Actually, that reminds me. I've got to ask you a question later on about that. Anyway,
On the podcast or after?
on the podcast.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well,
It'd be
let's get into it now.
Right. Well, are you ready?
I'm ready. I was born ready. Now I just hit my glass against the microphone. That's real professional.
So sometimes when I'm like trying to get new people into shooting or like showing them scopes and stuff, and I show them, I recently acquired a really nice expensive scope, and I've got my other ones.
You're allowed to say the brand that you're
Running a Carlos, and
you're endorsed by Carlos.
wearing a knife.
Doing well.
Legit.
yeah, you might have to rethink your.
I didn't sign anything. Okay, but sometimes I'll give them a scope and I'll go, "Hey, look through this," and they go, "How far can you see with this?"
Yes, definitely.
What's your response? And I go, "Well, far as you want."
Depends how high up the mountain you're sitting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, I just find it an odd question sometimes.
It's
How do I?
It's an odd question when you've got a deeper understanding of scopes and what they do, but it makes sense that people will go, "Oh, well, this is." I mean, I responded to a question on TikTok tonight that was asking about, "Oh, could I run a 90 power scope in PRS?" And I'm like, well, the first challenge would be to find someone who makes one, but if you can overcome that one, you're allowed to run it. I definitely would not. And so, but there is certainly a misunderstood but logically sound length that you want to be able to see/shoot further. You need more magnification. I mean, we've covered that. You're aware of that, and many of our listeners and viewers will understand that. But there is that question that you get asked of, well, how far will this scope go?
How far can you see?
How far can you see? How far can you shoot with it? Those sort of things. And it's not. It's from a sensible thing. They're like, obviously this scope does what? And it's a matter of being able to provide some context to the person you're speaking to.
Yeah, true.
It's a very hard question to answer like really quickly because obviously the question doesn't make sense if you've got a good understanding. But if you don't, obviously it does make sense because you're like, oh, obviously, why would I get a 16 power? I could get a 25 power and see further. Yeah, and I mean, you can see more detail further. Sure, you can zoom in on something better. It doesn't necessarily, I mean, you could have really good optics at 10 power and you can resolve stuff better than a 30 power piece of rubbish that
totally.
you can't see through. And so the 10 power will see further in that terminology. But yeah, it's a flawed but understandable question.
Yeah. It's just something
So-
that stumps me every now and then.
Yeah, and I think it's a matter of if you've got the time with that person to be able to say, look, that I mean, I understand why you're asking that question for sure, absolutely. But probably what you're asking is like, how far can we shoot with this?
Yeah.
Right? Because chances are, if you're showing them the scope, that's what they're asking is how far can you shoot with this? And therefore, you can say, hey, so there's a bunch of other factors that play a role in how far you can take a scope. And the big one, let's talk about elevation and understand what that means. And I think that you start doing that and people get an appreciation for it, that there's more depth into it.
Yeah, totally.
Choice. So it is a hard one to provide. Well, hopefully someone watching, listening can tell us what they do in that environment. They say, you could just be like, 7.
Yeah.
just, I mean, if you really don't like the person, I guess you could just.
You could see to the moon.
Just waiting for Josh to do a bit of a Dogecoin to the moon.
Yeah, that's what I was leading on
Yeah.
to.
I need to work on my sound effects.
So, yeah, it's great. It's a great question, and it's super valid. But there is not the answer you expect to it. There's not a number that clarifies it. You could give a guide, like you could give a that you would commonly, if you were shooting to 1,000 meters, you would commonly want to run maybe like a 20 power, but then depending on the discipline, maybe you run a 60 power. And
true.
And so that's where there is certainly more context to that, and I think. Yeah, in my job, we've got the ability to talk with someone and go a little bit deeper and ask them from where are they asking that question, and be able to help out. I probably haven't helped you. I mean, you knew most of that, I suspect, but for the people watching that are perhaps have those questions, because scopes have certainly always been a little bit black magic.
Yeah, I was just thinking the same.
A little bit sort of, particularly. I mean, once you get into it and you understand it, you're like, cool, but this weird black thing with stuff inside of it makes you be able to magically hit things down range. But they're pretty basic.
Yeah.
In many ways. So.
Yeah. I think a lot of people can fall into the trap of over magnifying, unless if they're not shooting like F class where they or some other disciplines where they need that massive magnification. A lot of people fall into the trap of getting too much magnification.
Yeah, I think as a general rule, that's a fair assessment for many people. They often will, further, more is better. Let's just get more, all the mags. Yeah, absolutely. I mean, we could spend a full podcast on that. Maybe we will one day soon.
One day.
On to your next stage of Sunday morning once you woke up from your pork hangover.
Well, 900 metres.
Josh, did you realise that bacon comes from pigs?
What?
Yeah. Anyway. Back to you, Andy. 900 metres.
Did you pulled pork comes from pigs, right?
I got that one.
Okay,
He thought that meant something completely different.
All right.
Wait, you can eat pulled pork?
Only if you pull it right. So,
back on.
But 900 metres was fun.
900 metres sounds amazing.
That was fun.
How did you go? Did you hit?
Yeah, I hit stuff.
Did you hit the target?
Yeah.
Did you hit stuff at 900 metres?
Yeah, we had electronic targets. That was awesome. Pretty much, you've got this like iPad or something next to you with a picture of the target. It shows you where your impact, and then it had a grid reference on there. So every grid turned out to be 0.3 mils.
Okay. Yep.
So you sort of knew, what you got to do, what you had to dial. And in the morning, we had 2 shots to 0 or sight in and make sure we were at least on
track. Yep.
And then so everyone did that, and then we started the actual stages.
That's a good way to do it, I think. Actually,
yeah, gives everyone that chance.
Did you find the wind picked up?
Yes.
Yeah, and you sort of perhaps you buffer that morning bit, because obviously generally in the morning you guys who shoot first at those long distances generally have a little advantage, but maybe a real sensible way of doing that for the first go, and you chew up the first half hour or whatever it takes. Yeah. And then you hopefully further into the day.
Yeah, the wind definitely did pick up. There was so I got mine sighted in 2 shots, no issues, and hit the bullseye. The thing speaks to you and it goes super center.
Is this Andy or Plushy here? I'm just because there's a bit of flexing going on.
I can't see him, so
there's a bit of flexing going on.
The flex is coming up. The flex is coming up.
All right, here we go.
Oh yeah, right.
Prepare yourself.
Not my flex though.
Oh, okay, here we go.
So I do my 2 sight-in shots.
You did?
And I go, so it was off a bit, dialed 0.3, and then it goes super center, hit the center. I was like, sweet, all right.
Did it like Siri level tell you that?
Yeah. It will tell you
Can you
4 ring, it will tell you.
Can we just get that recording and just say from time to time?
It'll be there. It'll be there somewhere. Someone has it.
We make a great comment.
We need it.
Then Josh can be like, super center.
Actually,
rather than...
Yeah, that was rubbish.
Yeah, it's terrible.
I did record it. I recorded what happened. I recorded what happened next.
Oh, here we go.
Here we go.
There's a
go to my brother-in-law and I go, you haven't shot this far before. You may as well, like the rifle's, zeroed, settle in, take a couple of shots, get used to it. First shot, super center. And he's like,
center.
I'm done. I was like, that'd be right. Rock up and just single shot.
Good.
So anyway,
all right,
that was good.
Nice flex.
And I think then he beat me on that stage. So last time that's happened.
Boom, buy his own damn gun.
That's right.
Yeah, get his own rifle cool. annoying thing.
Figure out your own problems.
Live your own life. Righto.
All right.
On to the next one.
Moving
Any
on.
other good stages, or was Butters just failed from there?
No, there's a few good ones.
Hey!
Vintage was a stage sponsored by Lovies Gear.
It's a classic stage, that one.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Vintage. Essentially,
More to the point, you see that it's Vintage 4. There are 3 other vintage stages. Every year that stage gets rehashed.
oh, right. There you go. Didn't even know.
That's what the vertical dash and the V
The
means.
V means 4. Yeah. Roman numerals.
Yeah.
I know some stuff.
Did you mean like, where do I plug the IV in? Like, is that, what did you think?
What's vintage IV?
Okay,
All right. Good one.
thanks.
So this was sponsored by Lovies. Pretty much the fastest clean
Okay.
got a prize.
So did you do it in 44 seconds and didn't hit anything?
No.
Okay.
I had heard that Andy McNeil was currently winning. And my
Is this, am I preparing for flex here?
no.
Okay.
We need a
Preparing for
flex sound
laughter. You better
effect.
get some more drinks.
Here we go. Here we go.
So this was one of the stages
Shit,
where I
cannons.
was thinking to myself, I'm not going to worry about the prize.
Yep.
I need points because I knew I was falling behind. So I
Yep.
need points. So this was a possible 16 points.
Oh, wow. That's
Yeah.
a big stage.
Big stage, 16 points, 180 seconds.
Yep.
A sling only,
Okay.
but the positions we're shooting off, we didn't use a sling. You were able to get enough solid position by leaning into the rifle against
Yep.
the barricade. It was solid enough.
It's a series of like classic barricades, isn't it?
That's
You've got
right.
A number
It's
of
just
different
off
tank traps
logs.
and logs and
Yep.
barrels or whatever. Yeah.
Yeah, so nothing difficult. It was just,
Remember that, Josh. Nothing difficult.
nothing difficult.
Remember that.
So I thought to myself,
That's going to play a role later, I suspect.
yeah. I thought to myself, I'm just going to get points with this. Like it is cleanable.
Get points.
People have cleaned it.
Yep.
Just need to get the points. I'm up there and I go, nah, stuff this. I'm going to win this. And I absolutely
That's the
try
Andy I know and love.
hammer it through. Ended up with 11 out of 16.
I was like, what? 16?
Ended up with 11
11 out of 16.
Yeah, absolutely dropped the ball.
Okay.
But the mistake, that was mistake A.
Okay, here we go.
The other mistake, which is
Shot the wrong targets.
didn't shoot the wrong targets, but more of a mental sort of, sure, I could have gone, right, I'm going to go absolute full leather here and try and win this. But as soon as because it was whoever won it the fastest clean stage,
Yes. Yeah.
as soon as I dropped that first point, I should have gone, all right, slow down, let's get all of the rest.
Yes, you should have.
Yes.
Yeah.
But I just kept smashing on and missing. And I was like,
Let's miss faster.
yeah,
Yeah.
that's it.
Woo!
So,
Making my way back.
yeah, that happened and I was utterly disappointed with myself.
I was trying to do the Joker thing where you push down on the pencil and put in someone's eye. It was with the Nerf gun and Nerf dart. It didn't work. Don't mind me. We're back to the podcast.
Right.
So you got 11 out of 16.
11
I
out of
remember
16.
things. I was paying attention.
Yeah, cool. So, well done.
Thanks. On to the next one.
These ginger beers are great.
Yeah, the actual beer ginger bits.
I've never talked back so much in my life. All right. Junkyard was fun. That was just shooting off a bunch of stuff. Skill stage 3.
I love how every stage was super detailed up to that point, and it was just like, yeah, it was fun.
Yeah, skill stage 3.
Yep.
If you don't know it, learn it. That was fun. Too Fast, Too Furious.
Yeah. Here we go.
That was a series.
Were you The Rock or were you Vin Diesel?
All the
Oh.
important questions.
Yeah. Podcasts don't work if you don't talk, Andy.
Contemplating. I'm trying to remember which one's which.
Some think.
Keyword is it's an audio podcast.
Look,
even
was just
I know
all
what
about-
that is.
I was just all about the family. All right. Had the family up there. Okay.
All right.
So,
Good.
which
There we
one's
go.
that? That's Vin Diesel, isn't it?
That's Vin Diesel.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. So,
I don't know. I only know that from TikTok. I've not seen the movies.
Really? Oh my gosh. That's
Anyway.
it. We're doing a Too Fast, Too Furious marathon.
Okay. Doesn't sound like it would go for long.
And I
Take that. That was a good one.
That
That was a good one. All right, on to the next stage. Oh, you're talking about this stage. Sorry.
No, still onto this one.
to The Rock.
So this was three lots of 10 seconds. Essentially, you're prone, you're shooting off kneeling, and you're shooting standing off as front support.
Yep. Was it quick? Did you not have a lot of time?
So 10 seconds.
Okay.
10 seconds.
Yeah, I'm with you.
Yep. So we had 10 seconds to send 3 rounds.
Mm-hmm.
And of course, we were trying to push for the fastest time.
Yes.
And I did clean it. So I
Okay.
was happy. And my fastest prone stage was 4.8 seconds. So 3 shots in 4.8 seconds.
4.8. Andy.
Yeah, now
and
one-
you hit them all.
Hit them all. Now one bloke, I think it was Jack from KI.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, running the AIs.
I think it was about 4.5 seconds.
Wow.
So he absolutely nailed that too.
So this is you starting prone,
Starting prone, bolt open.
bolt open, and you
Yep.
do it. You're closing, shooting. Are you lined up on target? Just for some context.
Yeah. So you're essentially prone
Got
on
everything
target.
ready. Okay.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
So there's literally like beep as quick as you literally can do it.
Well, that's how I was doing it. But you did have 10 seconds.
Yeah. Sure.
So,
Sure.
yeah.
Okay.
but I wanted to see what I could do.
I love
4.8
it.
seconds.
4.8 seconds. That's
Wow.
that was the flex, I think. Righto. But I like your flexes, Andy, because your flexes come with a caveat of someone who did better.
Well,
Done,
that's
mate. That's very
good.
That's very humble of you.
Thank
I'm
you.
impressed. Have a jelly baby. Jelly baby.
Well, I won't tell you about this other flex coming up.
Okay,
then.
we'll just move on.
Which one was it, actually? There was one.
You've reached the end of the matchbook and
Oh,
lacking your.
where
your
was
flex.
it? Oh, no. Where's my
It's
flex?
taken a long time.
Oh, no. Ha! Choose your poison.
What was that?
Crickets. Just wasn't very loud.
You know how I said I did well, choose your poison?
Yeah.
Top score,
Top score.
8 out of 10, like everyone out of everyone.
But you didn't clean it.
No, I didn't clean it, but I top scored it. So
Well done. Well done, Andy.
thank you.
That's
I'll take it.
Yeah, good stuff.
All right, so where were we?
I think we'd finished.
And yard work. That was fun. That was shooting targets off of a quad bike.
Oh.
Not moving, but just stationary.
Yep.
That's
still,
cool.
Still good fun.
That was cool.
Nice.
Yeah,
Yeah, brilliant.
did all right. Oh, I got a note there.
Okay.
The last stage of each day were my best stages.
Interesting.
So mentally, I think I sort of like
You were checked out.
not checked out, but like this is the last stage. Let's just relax and have fun. And they were the
Do you-
stages that I shot the best.
Do you? So, I mean, you were there, and you were making that assessment. So
Mm-hmm.
I won't disagree with your assessment. Do you think though that there's an element perhaps that you had been shooting all day, and so you've refined your craft over the course of the day? You've gotten better.
Mm.
Be interested to see the order you shot in, how you performed, whether you improved. Because had I gone to this match, that was my goal. Is that I would have late in the day would have shot better
Yep.
on balance with the other shooters than when I started.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, did you see any reflection of that, or were you pretty crappy the whole way through?
They're pretty crappy the whole way through, really.
Points for honesty.
Yeah. But somehow I ended up 6th.
Yeah, yeah.
All right, so.
Nice, mate.
But I could look into that. We've got all the scores of like how everyone went.
Yeah, curious
But-
about it.
yeah.
I think your assessment of that, of like by that end of the day, you're a bit more relaxed.
Hmm.
Just whatever, can't
Yep.
do much now. We'll just have a crack. And I think like I actually would agree with you that that's probably the reason
Hmm.
why. But also, I wonder whether you're well and truly in the flow and well
Hmm.
and truly moving well. So,
Tell you when I wasn't in the flow.
yep.
There was 2
Saturday
stages.
night. What?
No.
Sunday
It was
night.
just during the match.
Thursday night.
During the match. On
During
the
the
Saturday, halfway through Saturday.
Yes.
There were 2 stages there where I got a 3 out of 9 and a 3 out of 12.
These are not good numbers.
No. And they were right around the time that I was having cartridge issues.
Oh, I would have thought you were taking it somewhere else with that. Okay, great. Cartridge issue. Now, you said, you teased in the last podcast that you had some cleaning problems or something along those lines.
That's right. Yes, someone hadn't cleaned my rifle.
Who would that have been, Josh?
Definitely not
It
me.
would have been Andy. You're right. Yeah,
Yeah,
it would have been Andy.
But I've never had this problem before. So
Well, it's because
Because you haven't cleaned your rifle.
are you telling me the bore snake doesn't clean the chamber?
Correct.
I still haven't cleaned the chamber. Or the rifle.
Well, good news on that front, because this match in Darwin had become the end of the line for a long-running bet that we had that was we're going to shoot against each other, and based on a significant being stacked in my favour, where I only had to get like 12% of your score,
Something like that, yeah.
I didn't attend the match. and therefore I forfeited the match. Therefore, I have to clean 4 of your rifles: your competition gun, your competition rimfire gun, your night gun, your spotlighting type gun, and then a gun of your choosing that you own. I like how I just put that you own on the end of it, so you can't write one of it. That was the implication for sure.
Yeah. Okay.
So we're gonna have to do that at some point.
Yeah. We should make some videos because I'll probably learn how to clean a
Make some
rifle.
videos. It's like what we do, I guess.
Yeah,
All
we
right.
should record it and learn something.
What about next podcast? Come down early. We'll clean it before the show,
All right.
and we'll do that. We might stream it somewhere.
Just clean one of them. It's going to take like.
Oh no. We
Are we doing a full strip of the rifle? The full Monty.
sorry, I got distracted.
A lot of people do.
Anyway, we will see what we can do. Perhaps we podcast while we clean the rifle. While I clean the rifle, I should say.
Yeah, we could do that.
Yeah. All right. Well, stay tuned for
That'd
that
be cool.
next episode. That'll be good fun. Anything else that came out of Darwin that you want to maybe?
Should we talk about the issue I did have?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So-
Not cleaning your own. Or just to try and solve it.
Yeah, so something I hadn't come across before, but so I recently went from a 6.5 down to a 6 mil.
Yep.
New match chamber sort of a deal for the rifle. So tighter tolerances, everything's a bit finer. And these rounds, like they felt firm to chamber.
Yep.
Is the word.
It is.
And I thought, oh, okay, maybe I didn't bump them back far enough. That's fine. But it wasn't until we had a round chambered, buzzer went beep, okay, unload, show clear. Went to pull the round out. Now I've got powder everywhere. My bullet's stuck in the barrel.
No.
And I was thinking, what the hell's going on here? I'm
Yep.
definitely not jamming. Like I know I'm not jamming.
Yeah.
And it turns out that I had such bad carbon fouling in the free bore sort of throat area that it was grabbing onto my projectile
Yes.
and holding it. And the reason why it was, felt hard to chamber was every time I was chambering around, it would grab that bullet,
And push it back in.
push it into the case harder.
How did you even shoot in these targets?
Well, that explains why I scored so low.
Yeah. Sure.
Plan.
I mean,
Okay. And did you resolve it on site? Or
I did.
you-
There was a
yeah?
very friendly gentleman there who looks after the range, and he's got,
JB.
JB.
Mr. JB
That's
himself.
it. Massive
The man.
amounts of tools
Everything.
and cleaning and reloading gear.
Yep.
That sort of rattled me, and those 2 stages obviously did reasonably bad, but
Mm-hmm.
we were able to resolve the issue. Essentially, grab a cleaning brush on a short rod, put
Mm-hmm.
it in a drill, run it in and out, cleaning that free bore, and
Yep.
yeah. Since then, I was like, my rounds
smooth as.
do chamber really smoothly.
Yeah.
So now I know what to feel for and what to look for before I end up with powder all through my rifle.
Because a lot of PRS shooters and a lot of shooters say, "I don't bother cleaning your rifle," but what they mean is don't bother cleaning your barrel, but definitely clean your chamber.
Yeah.
'cause otherwise that happens.
And I'm probably, at that point, it was probably 600 rounds in.
Yeah.
And it's not an issue I ever had with the 6.5 factory barrel. So,
Because
to
the
me, it's
factory
just,
barrel was sloppy.
yeah.
Yeah.
But it's just nothing I'd come across before.
You come
So
across. Okay.
that was interesting.
Absolutely. I bet.
And then what else in Darwin? How much time we got?
I don't know, but you then. Well, what went down on Monday when you were in Darwin? Because you went off to look at crocs.
Yeah, we saw some jumping crocs.
Yep.
And we'd heard a rumour there was something about a COVID case in Darwin.
Yep.
Not in Darwin, but around Darwin in Catherine. We thought, what's the worst that could happen? Went to watch
Said everyone in since COVID ever.
and I mean, Darwin's had a pretty good track record with COVID, and we thought this trip would be a pretty safe bet. But, there's always that risk.
There's a reason Josh and I didn't go.
So we went and saw some jumping crocs on the Adelaide River,
Yep.
which was awesome,
That
like
would've
amazing. I think it's definitely worth doing.
Yep.
And then when we got off the boat, we found out that Darwin's going into a 72-hour lockdown.
Yep. Like within 10 minutes or something.
Yeah, pretty well.
Yeah.
You need to go back to your cabin at the caravan park and stay there.
Yeah.
And we thought, you know what, the caravan park will be, pretty cruisy. They'll lock down the caravan park, but they've got a pool, they've got food there. You can walk around. Nah, this was pool closed, bar closed. just in the cabin.
In the cabin.
Went back to the caravan park and then sort of had to figure out our moves from there. So we did decide to fly back on the, what would that have been, Tuesday?
Tuesday.
Yep. And
Was that when you were meant to fly back anyway?
Yes. Yeah,
Okay.
it was. And even if we left on the Monday or Sunday night, even they did backdate it, I believe. So we were stuck anyway.
You had to go through what was going to be 14 days of quarantine,
Yes.
which slightly familiar with. Yeah.
Been there.
Been there
So
twice.
we were lucky. We didn't have to do the full 14 days.
Yeah.
Quite lucky. Darwin had.
But you boys came back and you decided to stay together.
Yeah,
because you just loved each other. that
Mrs.
much.
wasn't having a bar of it. She thought I'm not quarantining. You figure out your own problems.
Yeah.
Because we're, the
Live your
house.
own damn life. Buy your own rifle. Get your own rifle. Cool.
That's right.
Yeah.
Well, because I think at
Order your own
that
cool
point, if I did go home and if I did go home to quarantine, then because she's a nurse and shared house and all that sort of stuff, then she would be stuck as well.
Yeah.
So the five of us decided, hey, one of the blokes had an available house in Adelaide.
Yep.
So we thought, hell, why don't we all just go there, hang out, quarantine, see it out, and it'll just be like an extended holiday.
Yeah.
So that was awesome.
Brilliant.
So I got some reloading gear dropped off, some cleaning gear.
Yep.
So we all decapped and cleaned our brass. We were productive.
Yeah. We've been well organised.
Yeah, there was a lot of dry fire practice going on, a lot of playing around with gear and equipment. I sat there and watched a lot of TV and played computer games and didn't do much dry fire. But I could have used the time wisely. I could have organised a rimfire match.
You could.
Could have done a lot of things, but...
Welcome to the Precision Regret podcast.
Anyway, so 4 days there and now we're doing this.
Well, we were going to talk about why you should never buy a 300 Win Mag. We're going to have to save that for the next episode. So we will catch you guys then.
Later.
Thanks for listening to the Precision Shooting Podcast. To continue the discussion, check out our Facebook page. And for more information, head to our website, www.precisionshootingpodcast.com.au. This episode was brought to you by Impact Dynamics.